What have you been up to this week?
Super Bowl, and
Of course, it's a good game.
it was all
Yo.
right.
Prior though, I mean, you were just riding that high of that
Movie,
fucking 5 day
came
run.
off a 5 day shoot for sure.
Were they five in a row, or do you have some gaps?
I had 1 day off in between.
That's
After
wild.
Tuesday. It's funny. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have I done anything creatively? Yeah, not too much. What about you?
I've been consistent on my writing, working on something now that's like, this is the one. This is the 200K project I've been trying to make for several years. But I like this concept, it's fun. And then in the meantime, Ken and I had we co-wrote something like 2, 3 years ago. We're gonna have like a virtual table read coming up just to because he really believes in that project, and so do I. But I have this like thing against, like, I've got this bias against old stuff that I've written when like it could totally hold up and be like this dope project. So we're gonna just
Fine.
dust it off and read it out, because that thing could be made for like cheap, man, and still be good. So that could be a
Yeah.
good first one. But I really feel like I'm finally rounding that like final base. Everyone's advice that I talk to in the industry is like, shorts don't cut it. Like, writing a script and then selling it doesn't, like, that's not really a thing anymore. There might be 10 of those a year. And so it's
Wow.
like, it's just about making your fucking project and putting it in the market, seeing what happens, and rinsing and repeating, just doing that. So
Yeah, you're
all that
you're
stuff.
past your time. Yeah, you need to be doing. Oh, I might have told you. I might not have. This is kind of big. So
Got something?
yeah, my dad finished doing the outline for 7 Days of Vegas 2,
Oh shit.
and he's started writing the script, and I started like working on scenes with him. It's so fun. You get right back inside. It's already so good. The beginning is like, it's really cool to see. I mean, I was trying to compare it to how I felt about when I read the first movie script. And I remember like it was kind of so long ago. I wasn't even too familiar with like screenplays at that point. I'd read plays and stuff, but I hadn't really
Yeah.
read screenplays. It was like 2016. And the beginning of that movie was more like there was like a voiceover, and it was like him in the middle of the bet of what the movie ends up being, and then it goes back in time, and then it starts this poker game, and we were really proud of it, but it maybe on paper it wasn't as like cinematic, whereas like this one, out of the gates, cuts to the funniest situation and the funniest new characters. My part's big in it.
You're starring, right?
I'm starring in it. And in the last, you saw the last one, right? Of
Yeah, of course.
course.
I was
Uh,
raving about it, bro.
I forget. I forget. Oh, it's great to hear. Thank you. Well, as you might remember then, my dad has got his right-hand man, Carl, played the publicist, played by my uncle Jimmy,
Of
who's been on
course.
the podcast.
Him.
And in this movie, Jimmy's introduced not immediately, reintroduced. And when he does come in, it's so much more impactful because before it, there's like a couple kind of buffer characters that are like fun in between, myself being one of them. Like you, so obviously this is the follow-up to the previous movie, and the previous movie ended with their crew winning all this money in this big bet. And it's so exciting. The sequel starts without giving away too much. Well, this is a deconstruction of film anyway and stuff and everything, and people are going to forget it before they see the film, so it's not really giving away. This second sequel starts off with what's true to gambling. They lose all their money immediately after. Everything, all the millions. It's blown up.
Oh, I love that. And then
Yeah,
immediately you're in like, here's like a horrible situation.
back to basics.
Yeah.
And on one hand, you could say that like I hate it when the sequels contradict everything the last movie just did. It's like, nope, everything that last movie was for is like for nothing because now they're back to being losers, and that's why it's more like interesting.
Yeah.
You sipping some wine there?
Some espresso, my guy, in like
Why?
some kind of sake
Even
thing.
crazier.
Yeah, bro,
What?
I love espresso. Like I can fall asleep like that. Like there are a lot of people who aren't like that, but
No,
I
someone else
espresso at night.
at his party yesterday said the same thing. Caffeine doesn't affect them.
But not to interrupt,
Um,
keep going. So they're again like the losers. They just
yeah,
lost this
but
money.
it's I think it's true to it because with gamblers, that is a reality.
Hmm.
High highs, low lows.
It's true. And
And
I love how immediately they're thrust into that situation. It's so relatable too, you
the
know.
title of the movie is called Stuck and Broke in Palm Springs. And so now they're screwed. My dad is now cut to him doing little hustles as a pickleball teacher in Palm Springs with his wife.
How fitting.
How fitting. And my character is someone that is an ex tennis prodigy who got his eye hit in the face by a tennis ball, loses his eye, has to wear an eye patch
Oh no shit. The whole time.
the whole time. And he's Italian. His name's Alfonso.
Bro. Not to pitch, but also I'm gonna pitch something real quick.
Spit
If
it.
there was like a moment where like the whole time it's covered, right? But something happens where like you show and everyone's just like, like it's like really bad.
There's more than that, bro. There's like we're doing all sorts of stuff with the eye.
All right, so you don't got an eye. I got it. And then
I'm bigger than life. I work at the Olive Garden.
okay.
I do little
Are you
hustles.
actually gonna shoot at an Olive Garden, or is that just your backstory?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, now that you mention it, it might be tough to do, but it's funny.
It could sponsor the film.
Yeah, I'm sure they're a little more careful than that with who they decide to put their label on. Um, anyway, there's so many funny characters already and like concepts for each scene and everything, so it's a real page turner. Anyway, really, really fun. My dad's slugging away at it. He's so excited. Hopefully we make it soon. And my thing is, dude, because the first one got voted top 10 gambling movies
Yeah.
of all time by Barstool
Yep.
Sports, why not try to get funding and get produced by Barstool Sports?
That's really smart. They're
Simply.
huge. I mean, they're
They've
massive.
redefined media for better or for worse in a
Bro,
lot of ways.
yeah. I mean, if that's on a list that they put out, it's
You
in
got to
top 10.
capitalize. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a big they're Barstool Sports, so they care about gambling. And the movie was on their list.
I'm sure
I,
there's some crossover with your dad and what he does with those guys in some way, right? He can get to
I
Portnoy.
would think so. He's leaving it up to me now. He's saying, I'll give you a producer credit. Figure it out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gonna try to get to Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
He's a review guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great, bro. That's a really smart, and you're thinking like a producer too. It's like, what is this piece that I can get? It's all a puzzle. Like, how can I get this piece excited and then move that over to this next thing? And how can I move that to that's producing? You're
Well,
doing it.
I'm a businessman, man. Let me tell you, when it comes down to it, I'm trying to bring life to things, make it the best it could possibly be. If there's money
Yeah.
in it, sounds good to me.
Also, the first one, like critically did so well, but underperformed for what reason? It was so
The production company, the distribution company they ended up going through,
they folded, right?
no, they just buried it.
Oh. Oh.
Gravitas. They could have gone with
Oh,
Lionsgate.
bro, that makes a lot of sense. They're like a fucking well, not to shit talk gravitas,
No,
but
no, no. Well, I mean,
but the thing is they have such a massive library that's so easy to do because they can only highlight like so many. They've got like thousands of titles.
I also don't necessarily think it's just their fault. I think
Yeah,
when you make a movie, you have to be really clear about what the exit strategy is, what is the outcome that you're hoping for. I don't think they had one.
right,
And other than like going to film festivals,
right.
I could be wrong, but how are you supposed to make money? I mean, a distribution company, a few were interested. One of Lionsgate's smaller companies was, but they said it wouldn't come out for like a year.
And did
Uh,
those guys find you at the festivals?
I don't think so even.
Wow,
No, I think they had like an agent or producer on the movie.
got it.
Not that those connections. And
So are you changing your approach for the sequel? Do you have like are you looking to line up distribution ahead of time or what's the
I
plan?
just think you have to do more than just try to have a limited release, film festivals, and have it come out on streamers. I
What would
don't,
you suggest? Because that's where I'm at now too. What would you suggest?
I know. Biggest lead I have on it is trying to do sort of a novelty release on it. The equivalent
Right.
to short films. I know faith-based movies are doing this a lot. They have like with their Christian audience and everything, they have a limited release and like the people have to pay on demand to get it. And so you have an immediate audience, you become the distributor. And my dad attempted that last time a little bit with like World Poker Tour, the company he works for. They
Right.
did publicity for and stuff. But I'm kind of thinking for this sense, you have to go with like a Barstool Sports, have them literally release it themselves, them be the streaming platform.
I agree.
And that's it. It's like a
I agree.
novelty thing, I don't think the movie business is big enough for everyone unless you have a giant studio behind it. Like my stepmom actually just got a movie sold. They're gonna make it. There's a studio behind it, and I guess it's gonna come out on a wide release. But like, do you want your movie out in theaters? I don't know.
Wait, can
The
you say that thing about her again? What's going on? She's
uh,
releasing a film.
she's written a movie with a writing partner, Anne Marie, my cousin, and they they're making it. They have producers. They have a now they signed on with the studio.
This is your mom or stepmom?
Stepmom Eileen.
Great.
Yeah. And so look, I haven't caught up with her about it. I have no idea what that can entail, but it sounds like it's going to be a big budget feature film.
That goes to show too, some kind of gig like a soap opera type thing, like a serialized, like steady type gig thing, you can 100% pivot that into a feature. It's like you've got the connects, you've got like your regular working actor. It makes a lot of sense.
I
Also,
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if she would say that it was through the
oh,
show. The show
yeah,
just
just her.
seems like I don't want to speak for her, but allowed her the lifestyle to be able to do other things, and she
Yeah.
writes as well. But anyway,
You made a really good point about the Christian angle because
right? I mean, my
even
dad brought that up first. Yeah,
because I've heard it before,
yep.
but you just
And it's not
remind
just them; other companies do it too. Yeah.
me if I wanted to make like immediately, and like why not? Now I have to rethink what I'm writing right now. But like if I wanted to make the most amount of money in the fastest way possible, it would be to write a horror film that's like a faith-based type thing.
By the way, there's an episode of South Park about that.
For
They get
real?
it. They create a band to go into Christian rock because they know there's a built-in audience for it.
Yeah.
But that being said, doesn't mean you can't use the business model. You don't have to be a faith-based thing. You just have to. Their business model is really smart.
Yeah, of having these like special event type limited type things that you kind of travel around. Is that what you're talking about?
I think the general model is they have a huge audience among sort of a small pool, and
Yeah.
they have these certain companies, and then they release the film specifically through those companies. And they don't go through the Hollywood system. They literally just say, "Hey, you have to pay us, the filmmakers and the company, to watch this movie."
Right.
So it comes right back in.
And this company,
That's like such a simplification, but
it is 100%. And but this company would have screenings. Would they have just release on like iTunes, Amazon type stuff?
yeah,
Or do they have
maybe
a
just their own website,
wow, bro, direct to consumer,
direct to consumer movie making.
direct to fucking consumer, bro. Um, that is such a great reminder for me, man. I really, really appreciate that because
Awesome.
yeah, I recently looked because I defined like what I want Burnt Mill to be, like what's the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal is a wide theatrical release, like yearly, like to make it that consistent. Um, I mean, you even see Blumhouse releases two, maybe three titles every year, which is like unheard of to be released wide. But the thing is, man, there are maybe like 18 to 20 horror features that are released wide every year, even now. And there's
Wow.
a pretty good chunk of those that are like religious kind of based. And there's a reason for that. I don't think it's a coincidence. Like you're going to have that built-in audience who, specifically is into the uh
Subject matter.
yeah, I mean I'm trying to think of what I
Or
saw this
supporting too. There's loyalty there.
Yeah. But I love the direct to consumer thing, man. I mean, if you really like nail that, that's when you start rolling. I mean, you're doing
Yeah,
great.
you got to redefine things a bit to be gritty, business minded about it. You know, it's just
I mean, bro, how many churches are there in the US? Like reach out to every freaking church. Can we have a special screening? It's this price, whatever. And it's just a numbers game.
but I'm less interested in like changing the subject matter to suit
Yeah,
a
the
you know
business model. Yeah.
that yeah, I'm looking at more the business model of just like direct to consumer
Finding
movie
an audience, finding a way to be direct to consumer, making it niche. Yeah.
and not just getting buried in the streamers like everything else.
That's it, bro. Because even if you get on Netflix, let's say like, the dream happens and you get with a distro and they put you on Netflix and then it gets buried. Who the fuck cares?
Oh, those things get taken down so quick. Even the original films that are like bought by Netflix and the film festivals.
Yeah, bro. I've been learning from this guy, Jonah Feingold, who I think we talked about. He produced like, three rom-coms
300.
independently. And he said that his film At Midnight, I think it's called, it was on a streamer like Paramount Plus, and they just decided to take it down like after like a year or something with another group of films. They just can take it off the platform. So even beyond just getting buried, it's like
Yeah,
there's no guarantee. When you have it and it's all yours and you 100% own it, then you can do whatever you want with it.
dude. And if it's on the streamers too, you like never get updates of how the movie's doing or any. It's like bye
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah, the Hollywood accounting, like those quarterly reports don't come in once a quarter. It's that at least that's like those are the horror stories I've heard. So like the classic dream of film festival, distribution company, streamer, that might not be the ideal thing. There are other things you can do.
No, I think for those like big filmmakers that are already established and they're doing
Yeah,
those, things,
right.
it's like honestly, they're getting paid up front. It's a calling card. It's an opportunity to work with big people, and it's a resume builder. And then if a movie, in the really rare case, does really well, then it's like who knows, sky's the limit. But most of the time, yeah, dude, you gotta reinvent it, I think.
Yeah.
So that.
So that's exciting, man. And I think you should definitely, I don't know how you would go about get into Barstool Sports, but I think they'd be perfect for something like this. And
I
I mean, bro, they've got one of the biggest audiences in the world, like fan bases. If they were putting out a film, a gambler film, I mean, everyone would see it. It'd be huge.
probably want to put a lot of their people in it, top comedians and stuff. I think I just got to figure out what overlap there is between my dad and some of these guys. Like, are they at World Poker Tour tournaments? You know,
I'm
what's the
sure they're a sponsor, aren't they?
they don't sponsor World Poker Tour.
No.
No, not
But
that
I'm sure they sponsor a lot of things that are adjacent, that are like very similar.
yeah, I'd be curious. I wanna, I
Because
wanna hack
they're
my
bro, 100% like no question, your dad, at least just what his day job is, he has a connection with someone at a company that does direct business with
Barstool Sports.
Barstool. No doubt.
I gotta figure it out.
You're the producer. That's exciting.
Houston, baby. Yeah. Me and only me.
Is this more of like a micro budget type deal? I don't want specific figures, but like, is it similar to the first one that you guys made?
Let's just say it's downwards of $37 for making this one. Uh, no, as far as budget, he has not mapped out the budget yet for it or
Okay.
anything.
I mean, you guys have to write the script first, for sure.
Yeah, but he's not worried about funding, he said. Biggest thing the first one was a calling card.
That's it. The first one's the hardest.
And it
Once you
made
got that,
fans. And so yeah, I
I
think a
mean,
lot.
bro, even the fact that he's cleared that goal of like finishing a film, but also the film being good, it's like he's blown past like 99% of filmmakers just
Yeah,
with that. It's
yeah.
just on top of that, it's just, it's cherry on the top. So,
Richard
like,
Roper, Chicago Sun-Times, said it was like the best gambling movie since The Sting.
I mean, that's the easiest pitch to investors of all time. All you got to do is just take a screenshot of that article and like your goal.
Well said. Well said.
That's exciting, man. I'm excited for you that you got this role with the eye. It's
I
gonna
know, man. I look, I don't know, what it means career-wise, but it ain't easy to get a good part in anything. And the first one was really big deal, and this one has fans, and so I know big people will be seeing me in this very high stakes part. Like really
yeah.
comedy. Like it's a big opportunity. I'm very fortunate. So yeah,
Well, it's cool you're playing both sides. You got this. You just finished this role, this like menacing dude, and now you're playing the opposite. It's great.
that's the name of the game. And my character's like loosely inspired by a real person too.
For real.
Naturally.
That you guys know personally.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's Italian person. So I'm literally just like doing an impression of his accent. It's just so wild.
I
This guy,
hope there are the. Do they also have one eye, or is that something you added?
that's something we added.
Bro, that'd be so perfect. It's like
This,
so obvious who it is.
well, that's true. I know. This guy that we know is a top like world-class paddle tennis player
Mhm.
and was an ex-model in Italy, like Milan fashion show. And nowadays he's just like beat up, smokes a ton of weed, plays paddle tennis at Venice Beach, like doesn't give an F, and like always is freaking out on the court in Italian. Bravo, Jamaica fail. What the we doing? And like, just like all the Italian cliches.
Yeah. Are you
And
gonna actually learn Italian, or are you gonna do that?
I mean, I don't have to learn Italian, but it might serve me to do a little bit.
Yeah, just it might even be funny if you like slip in real Italian and then it just like
Yeah.
you go in and out like fake.
Vinny,
It's
Vinny,
like a mix up. Yeah.
it's like when I'm telling him like not to do. What are you saying? Yeah, you were going to do the bet with him yesterday. Like what? You're going to tell him that you're not doing the bet? I mean, you had him in the bag, Vinny. Yeah, I could.
Bro,
I got 2 years to learn the accent.
I saw I showed Autumn The Shining yesterday because she never saw it, or she saw it when she was like really little. And bro, that is a masterclass in just acting and facial expressions, like the whole thing. Jack the whole time. And there were a few frames in there too that I was looking at it that I'm like, I saw you, bro. Like, there's some like Jack Nicholson, some of his expressions are like, you could totally play that character, man.
Well, first of all, you're too kind, but
Yeah.
did you see my video on Instagram I did probably 2 years ago now where because I was doing all those impressions. I did the scene, the bar scene.
No way, really?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson. It's one of my favorite
Lloyd.
scenes. Yeah, with Lloyd. Uh, Mr.
You did
Torrance.
the whole I did hurt him once, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought I did it really well. I did hurt him once, okay? It was an accident, completely unintentional. Could have happened to anybody.
Bro, that's it.
Goddamn years ago, the little fucker tried to pull my stuff, so I pulled.
Dude,
Little.
bro, it's all still there. That's like
Also,
perfect
he
too.
goes, Mr. Torrance, what'll it be? What was his name? Jack?
Uh it's Jack and Lloyd.
Lloyd. Oh, well, Lloyd, here's
Yeah.
the stuff. I'm gonna have a bottle of Jack, straight up. You know how? Or fuck. Now I'm confusing it with Wolf of Wall
He's
Street.
like a
But
little glass, some ice,
you
knock
can
it
do that
back.
for me too. You're not too busy.
Not busy at all.
Yes. Oh, dude, there you are. We should do that.
Bro, I'll
You'll
be
be
Lloyd.
Lloyd, right? Oh my
It's
God.
such a good scene, man. I mean, everything hits. It's like the acting, the writing, and it's so
Shots.
simple.
And they it's all so eerie. And they
Yeah.
cut to Nicholson like right on his face, just and it's like so campy and broad, yet like intense and real. It's weird.
I'd
Mm.
want you to do the scene of Jack and the butler in that bathroom. Remember that part? He's like, you were the caretaker. And he's just
So
fucking
nuts. You're
crazy.
right. That's the official point where Jack Torrance
Go snaps.
out, yeah, where he snaps,
Yeah.
where he's over the dark side and says he like basically will want to
Yeah.
act out.
And so I corrected her.
So creepy.
So fucking good, bro. Like it's the facial expressions because Jack, like he makes like the way he makes his face move. I never thought like a human being could make like work their face, but
Actually.
he does it in a natural way. That's the thing. All of it is real, but yeah, like when he's sitting there at the
Like from
bar, he's like,
thoughts. It's like from thoughts. Yeah, you're doing it.
yeah, that's the thing. I think that's the best acting, right? Is when we talk about this, but like when you're in the thoughts of the character and you're
Yep.
just thinking it. And you're just free to do Jack is so fucking free to do
Oh
whatever the
yeah.
man. I think he's like the best actor of all time, bro. Like he's so fucking good.
Trying to think if there's anything I've seen him in where he hasn't been like awesome. Uh,
There was that anger management one I never
I
saw with
love that movie.
is
I
it
love that
good?
movie.
I
Oh
never saw
yeah.
it. Uh,
Yeah, it's
the
Adam
last
Sandler.
movie he did, he needed like he couldn't remember his lines, so he was fed them through one of those ear things.
I don't mind that as long as the performance is good.
I agree.
I don't think acting is memorizing lines. I think that's part of the trade. But I think
Mm,
when judging someone's acting abilities, some people can memorize lines all day and they don't know how to act a
yeah,
situation authentically.
yeah.
For a comedy, humorously. For a horror film, uh, scary. Like,
For horror, um, the acting I think is the most difficult because like for the protagonist, because that's the most important one. It's not how scary the antagonist looks or whatever. It all depends on how naturally scared the
right.
protagonist is and if their face works for that. Like McKay Marone, I think is her name in It Follows, has one of the best faces for horror. Another one
Wow.
is Barbarian, that movie. Did you see that girl? She's fucking great. Like there are some actors who just have that face where they can
Well,
shoot fear.
lately there's definitely the trend in horror movies as far as casting. Casting's always super important, but it's kind of like model looking people. Like they have like really
Yeah,
specific, bizarre looking people.
totally.
Character like, yeah.
Totally. Like Evil Dead Rise that just came out, that was
Okay.
a model that has a very
I
specific
bet. Very specific look.
or
And
yeah,
obviously within each genre, it does like I oversimplified it, but like for horror, the through line of all of them is like acting real. How authentically can you portray a
for
situation?
sure.
But in a horror movie, it tends to be heightened situations that are like near death or supernatural or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've done the antagonist stuff. Have you ever played, or do you think it'd be difficult to play
Victim.
a protagonist and be scared?
I've kind of done that too. I've done that because like even the Lifetime movies, like I was like the high school quarterback that was trying to solve a murder mystery, and like I saw a death happen. You have to act that authentically as as authentic as possible.
Right.
And I don't think it's too dissimilar from that. Yeah, I think it might be kind of it's a lot of like having to imagine these absurd things and try to bring reality to it as much as possible. Horror
And
films notoriously have some of the worst acting and still getting away with it too. And still
totally.
like it doesn't sacrifice the film because people are just down for the concept.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think it's harder if the circumstance is like fucking crazy to act authentically?
Not necessarily because like sometimes it's easier to act things when you're like further away from yourself in reality too, because you like have to throw yourself into it
That makes sense.
rather than just pussyfooting around this. I mean,
Do
no,
you
at this point, I don't know what's harder. Sometimes it's hard just to make real lines sound real, and because they're like you're not doing them justice. Everything could be tough on a given day. It just
yeah.
depends, right?
Last question. What do you think of the method actor guys, the guys who like insist to be called like their name or at least just not break character? What do you think about not breaking character between takes?
Well, we've gone into this before, but I just heard on that subject, I just heard Leonardo DiCaprio talking about Daniel Day-Lewis
Yeah.
on Things in New York, and he said once, they were so friendly before the movie started, but once the movie started production,
He
Day-Lewis
was Bill the
was, at
Butcher.
least on set, he was that character all the time. And it sounds like they just like didn't talk much. Whether I think Daniel Day-Lewis was like cool about it. Like he wasn't like causing an issue on set, but he's probably just like to himself trying to stay in the headspace.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that stuff gets overblown probably. I mean, he also mentioned that Day-Lewis before he was just so self-conscious. Like he was
Out of
just like,
time, brother.
look at that. All right, my boy.
Next week.
See you next week. Have a great one.
Always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.